Right, back we are here. Sorry for that slight interruption. Scotland, India is where our attention lies, still with Ajit Agarkar and Peter Borren. Just before we move our attention to the earlier game, Peter was running through the Scottish side, and I wonder if you'd like to just comment on one player that I particularly have enjoyed. Every World Cup, one associate player comes and does something which puts a smile on your face. For me, that player has been Mark Watt. Peter, excellent numbers. I saw a lovely profile of his by Matt Roller on the side. You can catch that out. Calls him the poster boy for defensive darts, and we've seen that work beautifully in round one and even further on. Those economy rates have been something else for someone who I think wouldn't like to be called a slow left arm spinner, Peter Borden, would he?
Well, he's very clever, isn't he? He just executes. So it doesn't,
Mm.
with not much change in his action. He's got that wide Yorker. He bowls the straight Yorker. The batters have found it very hard to line him up and get under him. But he can also take the pace off. He bowls the ball very very wide of the crease, but sometimes backed by the umpire. A lot of variation while still executing, and he's been outstanding. I haven't seen, although everyone just keeps trying to line him up and he doesn't miss that hole. I have not seen anyone try to
Yeah.
use the pace off him, which I think might be an option that could put him off a little bit. So far, everyone's just lining him up, trying to bang him, and he doesn't miss. And we saw it against New Zealand the other day.
Mm.
He bowled 4 overs for 13. He's done it game after game. When they're lining him up, he's been outstanding. I'd be surprised if no one had from a franchise cricket didn't have a look at him in this, because he's so reliable. You just feel like even tonight, powerful Indian batting lineup, you feel like he'll be fine. It'll be the other bowlers you have to worry
Mm.
about. He's so reliable. Game out that, and that is not a small sample size. He's gone at less than run a ball every
Yes.
single T20 game in this whole World Cup, which is really an incredible effort.
Yeah, heck of a batting line, heck of a challenge today against the likes of Pant and Pandey, Ajit. But he's added a new dimension to left arm orthodox spin. I remember we used to joke about Ravindra Jadeja's ability to bowl darts, but if you bowl darts, you've got to be accurate.
Yeah, and I mean, and look at the consistency. I mean, it is
Yeah.
not easy in this format to consistently do that over a whole tournament, and he's been doing that. Look, middle overs are the key, not just to stop runs, but to pick wickets, and anyone who can do it. Those are staggering numbers. I mean, you look at the economy throughout the course of it, and he's been exceptional. And it'll provide. I mean, not once has he given over 6 runs and over. It's quite
Yeah.
unbelievable, really. And he's played some good teams in
Yeah.
there. So uh, again, a key figure in the middle. He'll have to he'll have to bowl with a wet ball tonight. Might be a different challenge.
Yep, absolutely. More on Mark Watt and the Scottish bowling at halftime. Let's quickly wrap up the afternoon game. And Peter, Namibia had their moments, didn't they? In fact, you go over to over, and they pretty much matched New Zealand up until that 15th, 16th over, which is exactly when we thought the game changed in the first innings. Thoughts on that afternoon fixture?
Yeah, we said it at half time in that game. They lost it at the end, and they didn't just lose the match. They almost lost it. Like they completely lost it, didn't they? It was
Hmm.
a shame because they'd been right in that game. They really bowled well through the middle. Obviously, conditions suited. It wasn't easy to bat, particularly when guys first came to the crease. And they'd done such a good job at getting wickets at regular enough intervals that they delayed that death. They delayed the death. But at some stage they couldn't delay the death, and the last 4 overs went for 67 runs,
Hmm.
and it was messy. It was fair to say that that was messy. When that happened on a wicket like that at Sharjah, they basically had no chance chasing 160. New Zealand very disciplined with the
Hmm.
ball. I thought New Zealand bowled a lot better today than they did in the last game against Scotland. They really were good tonight. But yeah, the story of that game was the last 4 overs of the Namibian bowling innings when Neesham and Phillips just took them apart.
Hmm. Yeah, I did ask you, Ajit, perhaps how would New Zealand bowl or who their threat would be. And Tim Southey, who we spoke of just a few days back, who surprised a lot of us with the numbers he's creeping up. This is perhaps where he's good, isn't he? Even when everyone else is going at 5 and 6, Southey goes at 3.75 bowls, just perfect to conditions, and is a much harder bowler to tee off than we perhaps sometimes give him credit for.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it? Just sometimes what experience does, but obviously having the skill set to just doesn't
Yeah.
miss the length, varies pace well. He's quite a tall guy, but his consistency on bowling straight and into the pitch. You can see throughout that innings how many times the balls hit quite high on the bat for most batters. Just that little bit uh, because the length's been so good, and a tall guy gets a little bit of bounce when sometimes it's a bit slower, sometimes it rushes you. So yeah, he's been doing a fantastic job. I think he's taken a lot of people by surprise with how consistent he is, because I'm sure a lot of batting lineups would be thinking that they can take him down, and he's been very difficult.
Yeah, good on New Zealand. Couple of tough afternoon fixtures back to back and one more to back. So they leave it down to Afghanistan, which would be a cracker in this game. Peter has already said that's a 50-50 game, according to him. So we'll have more on that in a few days' time. Thank you very much, Ajit. Peter, more from you in 20 overs time. Bumrah has the new ball in hand. Ajit would like that. Let's see how many he bowls in the power play. Varun Chakravarti is back too. So it's a test for the Scottish batting lineup, which has been slightly underwhelming in the Super 12s. Let's see if they can get a competitive score, and we'll pick up the chat at halftime on Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Dell.
Maruti Suzuki's People Technology presents Suzuki Connect with Navigate to Car and many other features.
Watch more, feel more. Dell.